Among all the changes that went live this past Tuesday in the recent D2 update, a few in particular really managed to raise my eyebrow. Warlocks not only got a passive grenade energy regen buff and a grenade damage buff, but they also got the following. Warlock constructs now count as grenades for both stats and perks. My priority for Tuesday was putting out a guide on the exotic axe, but now that I've taken care of that, I figured it was my duty as the official CEO of all Warlocks to finally tinker around with these changes, and all I have to say is good Lord. These changes are insane in the best way possible. I'm actually counting down the days until Bungie goes, oh god, what have we done, and tones all of this down. But I'm hoping they're busy with renegades, because until they do, buddy builds are back on the freaking menu. Today, we're gonna go over one. Well, technically, we're gonna go over two variations of one build I've been effing around with. You can take your pick between the two, and I'll share some interesting build info on the way as well. Let's go. All right, so both builds today revolve around what else? The Getaway Artist Exotic, which allows you to convert your arc grenade into a hyperactive arc buddy. Again, now that Warlock constructs officially count as grenades, arc buddies hit harder the higher your grenade stat is. If we go into the base power firing range to demonstrate, check it. At 100 grenade stat, our arc buddy does around 82 damage per shot, give or take. And at 200 grenade stat, our arc buddy now does 134 damage per shot, aka our shots are 65% stronger, goddamn right. And now that our arc buddies officially benefit from grenade status, that also means they can take advantage of Facet of Dominance. Spoiler alert, this fragment will be featured in both variations of our Warlock build we go over today, along with one aspect that I'll get to shortly. Facet of Dominance will take your grenade stat down by 10, but it is well worth the cost of admission, I promise you. With that fragment turned on, it means that now every time your arc grenade damages a target, it will cause jolt. If you haven't tried it yet, it is really difficult to explain just how good this is. Jolt is among the stronger and more fun elements in the game, and with your arc buddy shooting basically non-stop, you are going to get a ton of mileage out of this fragment. The one aspect that will be featured in both builds, as you very likely have already guessed, is Feed the Void, aka Devour. One, because your arc buddy and other abilities, which we'll get to, are going to be getting a lot of kills, you are going to be getting a lot of free health regen on demand, which is probably most players' favorite feature of Devour. But also don't forget, two, Devour also gives you additional grenade energy in the form of small chunks. Even if your grenade stat is 100, which gives you the best grenade regen rate possible, Devour will still give you back additional chunks of grenade energy here and there, which is awesome for this build. If you wanted to, you could experiment with Hellion and Bleakwatcher together, but I highly recommend not turning your back on Devour for this build. It's just too good. So our two builds that we're going to go over today are as follows. Build number one is going to be using both Devour and Bleakwatcher, meaning you'll have one arc buddy turret and one stasis buddy turret for slow and freezing shenanigans. And build two is going to be using both Devour and Hellion, meaning you'll have one arc buddy turret and one solar buddy turret for scorch and ignition shenanigans. And of course, feel free to skip ahead in the video if one build sounds more fun than the other, but honestly, I enjoy both. All right, build variant number one, Devour and Bleakwatcher. Our fragments will be as follows. Dominance, of course, which we've already gone over because it will help our little arc buddy deal jolt on a hit. Protection, just because it's incredibly good and helps keep you alive in tough PvE situations. Courage, because our Bleakwatcher turret will help spread around a lot of darkness debuffing in the form of slow, and our arc buddy will hit those debuffed targets harder. And finally, take your pick between purpose, balance, or command. Purpose may be a little bit redundant, as usually I take purpose as extra insurance to keep me alive, but Devour does a great job of that already. Right now, I'm going with balance for the extra ability energy, but you do you. Super wise. I think you can roll with either Song of Flame or Nova Bomb, but again, if you're trying to run some kind of wacky shenanigans with Facet of Purpose, maybe trying to get Woven Mail or Frost Armor or something like that, yeah, you can do that. I'm not going to stop you. Armor and stat wise, let's talk best case scenario. Your primary stat should be grenade, and your secondary stat should be weapon. Everything else is kind of who cares. Remember that if you hit 200 grenade stat, your grenades will hit 65% harder, and that includes your arc buddy and your Bleakwatcher. The weapon stat is secondary because extra weapon damage and better ammo bricks are always nice. If you can swing it, a really ideal armor combination would be to have 2 pieces of Smoke Jumper and 2 pieces of Aeon Adapter adapter, provided you want to use a mint retrograde or a rocket sidearm. But if you don't, then maybe just go with smoke jumper. It's one of the best 2-set bonuses in the game right now. Armor mod wise, the only mods I'd really hard carve in stone would be ashes to assets, because you're going to be rolling in grenade kills, so why not get some free super energy? And also firepower, and yes, I have on 3 at the same time, and I think you should too. If you didn't know, there's an internal cooldown on how quickly you can generate orbs of power when you have a firepower mod equipped. If you have 1 mod on, you can generate orbs from grenade kills every 10 seconds or so, give or take. If you have 2 on, that goes down to about 5 seconds, give or take. And if you have 3 on, that goes down to around 1 second. Meaning if you have 3 firepower mods on, you're going to be printing orbs like there's no tomorrow. And yeah, that does mean you have to put a half grenade mod on to make room for 3 firepower mods, but totally worth it. Weapon wise, again, if you're using Aeon adapter armor, go with mint retrograde or a sidearm. But other than that, I mean, you can use whatever the Christ you want. Your nades are going to be doing most of the work anyway. If you want to go full on meme, I'd recommend also throwing on a Finality's Augur, A, because it's really good right now, and B, it's another turret on the field, and that's kind of your whole vibe. On your artifact, be sure to put on Shield Crush, which, fun fact, gives bonus grenade damage even if you're already at 200 grenade stat, which is great. And maybe Cauterized Darkness, because your Bleakwatcher turret is going to be making a lot of things slow, and if you're using Finality's Augur, then that target will take even more solar damage. And of course, how to use the build. Step 1, when you enter combat, eat your grenade. And let's see here. Nope, that's it. Just 1 step. Eat your grenade. That's it. All right, build variant number 2, Devour and Hellion. Our fragments are as follows. Dominance, because again, we like free jolt and we want to get as much use out of that as we can. Also protection, because it's great at keeping you alive. This time though, no courage. We are instead going to go with Facet of Hope. Because our class ability is what summons our Hellion, this will allow us to get our little solar buddy on the field more frequently. For the final fragment, you can always go with either balance or purpose. I think I'm going to go with purpose because I'm running Nova Bomb this time, and I like the idea of having free overshield. Armor and stat-wise, things are just a little bit different. Again, the grenade stat is our primary focus because it means our Arc Buddy and our Hellion are both hitting as hard as they can. Also, fun fact, I've heard rumors on the street that more grenade stat will not only make your Hellion hit harder, but improve Hellion ignition damage as well. Unfortunately, this appears to be not true. I did an ignition damage test, which remained the same at both 100 grenade stat and 200 grenade stat. But the Hellion does hit harder, which is good enough for us. Secondary stat, though, is going to be class this time, so we're ideally never in a situation where we can't summon forth our Hellion. And yeah, that definitely will hurt our weapon stat a little bit, but what are you going to do? Again, if you can swing it, try to grab 2 pieces of smoke jumper, but it won't hurt your build if you can't. Again, it's just really good. Armor mod-wise, not much changes. Ashes to assets for free super energy, and just like before, triple firepower. You want to be an orb printing machine with this build, and that is what firepower lets us do. Weapon-wise, like before, if you're using Aeon adapter armor, go with mint retrograde or a sidearm. But really, you can do what you want, especially if your weapon stat is a tad lower to ensure that you have a bit more class stat. I mean, if you really want to ramp up the orb generation factor, you could always grab a weapon with attrition orbs or demolitionist, or both, to be honest. And I'm sticking with finalities because I like it. On your artifact, Shield Crush remains goated. If you decide you want to use a healing auto rifle and let your elemental buddies do all the work, you could slap on Elemental Benevolence. That way, when you heal your buddies, you get even more class ability energy, meaning you really would never be without a Hellion at your side. How to use the build? Slightly more complicated. Step 1, eat your grenade. Step 2, use your class ability, and yeah, that's it. Fellow Warlock bros, do yourself a favor and try out both builds if you feel like it. They are ridiculously easy and fun. Again, I'm pretty much expecting them to get nerfed in some form by renegades, but until that point, goddamn, I'm gonna put my feet up, crack open a beer, and let these little guys do all the work for me. See you on Twitch this weekend for Battlefield 6. Thank you very much for watching. Peace!